Volunteers, EMS, and our police officers and firefighters. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mrs. Lashway, would you please read the Open Public Meeting Act announcement?
According to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been given to the Daily Record. Notice has been posted in the Municipal Building, 204 Flanders Drakestown Road, Bud Lake, New Jersey, and notices were sent to those requesting the same.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ferrante?
Here.
Mr. Nicastro?
Here.
Mr. Perkins?
Here.
Mr. Roman? Mr. Stazak?
Here.
Mr. Mania?
Here.
Mrs. Laybow?
Here. Please let the record reflect that Mr. Roman is away on vacation, and he's actually coming back this evening, but will not be back in time for the meeting. We have our freeholder, say Crickus? Crickus. Do you want us to wait for Freeholder Lyons and Mastrangelo, or?
Actually, the way we've been doing this is one of us is going to go. We split the towns up.
Oh, okay.
Just one of us is first.
Okay, because I saw 3 names. I just want to make sure, because we could move on to something else if you're expecting them to arrive. So
I say we wait for them to arrive. One of us.
We're having a slumber party tonight, right? Would you, then I will turn the floor over to Freeholder Crickus. He is going to make a presentation on the Marsh County budget for us. Thank you.
Should I grab a mic, or can you hear me fine? Whatever works best.
So, does this one work?
I'm Crickus. I was mayor of neighboring Washington Township and committeeman there for 12 years, mayor for 3. And I appreciate the job that Mount Olive does snow plowing my road on Drakestown Road every winter. And the one winter that you knocked my mailbox down on my neighbors, new mailboxes were put up, and I really appreciate that. I didn't even call it in, so you got great service here.
Very good. That's good to know.
I am here to present the county budget. And one difference at the county versus at the town level, I was used to as a mayor and a committeeman, sitting in budget sessions, for several months, going through budget books line by line, looking at every department. On the Freeholder Board, we have a budget subcommittee that works on the budget year-round pretty much, and the operations of the county. So there are 3 of us, Freeholder Director Mastrangelo, Freeholder Lyon, and myself on the budget committee. And we offer the towns to come out and talk about our budget, and we appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you.
So some of the highlights, as you may have seen, is that we did have a 0 tax increase to the operating budget. So that's the taxes that are raised to fund the operating budget from year to year. We were also able to reduce, as has happened over the past 5-6 years, the open space tax. It got up to about $45 million, and over the past few years, it's now down to about $10 million. So combined between the 2 taxes, it's a 1.7% cut in the total taxes raised by the county. The 2013 budget maintains all county services. We didn't look to impact services, but to be frank, we didn't look to expand services either, just to deliver what we were delivering and doing it in a more efficient manner. And we were able to reduce spending also. Let me make one comment about the Open Space Fund. It's actually about 7 trust funds. 2 of them have dedicated funding for historic preservation and for park improvements. Both of those funds raise about $2.5 million, about a $0.25 the county tax rate. They use their money up pretty much each year, all right? So that $5 million will probably remain. We're not looking to touch that. So the other 5 trust funds are for open space, farmland, MUA, and there's 1 or 2 other, maybe it's 6 versus 7. And each of those have some trust fund balances. So the preservation of watershed, of open space, of farmland will be well funded in the years to come. We asked our planning department to take a look at each of those areas. For example, watershed, the MUA has money reserved for MUA. I'm not sure if the MUA will ever need more money. So we may be able to transfer money from that trust fund to another. But that's why we felt comfortable reducing the open space tax while at the same time ensuring we're still providing funding. So it was kind of a fine line that we walked there. So let's go into a few of the numbers. And by the way, for the township clerk, if you haven't already received this presentation, Diane Ketchum will be happy to send it out to everybody. You can distribute it, post it on your website. You need to fall asleep at night, it's right there for you, okay? Some view with the numbers. Total expenses actually down to 311 versus 317, a reduction of 6 million. We said actual expenses down 2.3. That some of that 6 million reduction is just the timing of grants. So we may get some of these grants later on in the year. So that's why we say 2 million reduction in expenses, 6 overall. You can see county property taxes at 217.9, 217.9. So no increase in county taxes. It had been going up $4 to $8 million in the years prior to that. Zero change in the county tax rate. How did we achieve this? I changed the slide too fast. I was supposed to say it was because we had this great new freeholder named Dave Scapicchio on board, as well as John Krickus. But no, it was a team effort. But really what we have to say in our first few months as being freeholders is we did benefit significantly from Governor Christie's reforms. $1 million savings in the pension and health, and $2 million in the health care plan. And our administration was able to, because the unions now have to negotiate. And a key point here is it's not so much that the employees are now paying towards their health benefits, though that is helping to offset, a significant percentage more than they were. I believe previously it was 2%, $900, something like that. Now it's being phased in, as you're probably aware, by the law, to pay up to 30% depending upon salary. But the real benefit has been the employees are moving to the $15,000 health care plan instead of the $25,000 health care plan. That has been the real savings. And the administration has done a great job in getting that in the contracts in the past year or two. As I point out to them, though, I've been on a PPO since like 1995. So it was good that government finally caught up with the times and moved in this area. Reduction in salary expense, 63 less employees, mainly due to attrition. One area that has been continually outsourced, about half of the staffing at Morrisview has been outsourced. We outsourced the housekeeping. So the reason why it's only $1 million reduction in the salary with 63 less employees is about 45 employees at Morrisview were reduced due to outsourcing. And then when you outsource a position, you're not saving the full amount in that position. You're paying a service to provide that. Everything but the nursing care has pretty much been outsourced at Morrisview. The losses there at Morrisview have been brought down to about $3.5 million from about $10 million. So it's a more manageable situation. And this is the first zero in 15 years. The last time the freeholder board had zero increases, Governor Christie was a freeholder. So a little nice connection there. Some highlights, really, again, just trying to provide the same services going forward, same Meals on Wheels, Morrisview I just spoke about. I'll speak a little more about that later. We kept funding level. Some counties have cut funding to the county college. We kept it level. We also matched the funding required per the state bond issue, which was a $750 million bond issue for colleges and universities that was passed. Morris County College of Morris is part of that, was $7.5 million, required 25% match, about $2.3 million a part of county. We did match that. They're going to renovate math and science classrooms, which I'm very pleased with because I think STEM education is very important, and also a performing arts center. So we were able to also provide that additional funding to CCM. Again, level funding at the Park Commission, VOTEC, and the same social services provided across the board. No reductions. In the public safety area, here are the listing of the public safety services. Again, no real changes. A couple areas I'd highlight. The dispatch center is now up to 23 municipalities. The juvenile detention center, it's a joint center with 3 other counties. Some good news there, we actually have fewer juveniles being detained, so we're actually able to reduce staffing, so crime is headed in the right direction overall. I think it's because there are fewer younger males, which generally drives a lot of crime at the younger ages. And having gone over those 2 areas, when you look at the $311 million county budget, here's where your money goes. You can see the 2 biggest areas are health and welfare, which is Morrisview and all the social services at $83 million, and public safety, all the law enforcement at $80 million. The parks and education, I talked about, $39 million. Our capital and debt budget, $40 million. That's the roads, the bridges. It's like when they redid the bridge, over here heading back to Drakestown Road on, Bartley, Drakestown there. I always love it now how people do one car at a time, If you've ever driven in Ireland, that bridge has plenty of room. You'll know what I mean. Never had a problem with small roads after driving in Ireland. And my wife thinking that she was in the bushes, actually, as we were driving along the road. Very narrow roads. So capital and debt handles the roads and bridges. One thing I would point out there is we're going to borrow $7.7 million less. And actually, Freeholder Scapicchia was on our capital committee. We have a separate committee looking at capital projects. We're looking to borrow less again next year. We want to drive the debt down of the county. And then general government, all the support functions, public works, the road work during the year, snow plowing, and our grant money offset by revenue. We believe a lot of the factors we went over, and after having done this slide, we did find out that our AAA rating was reaffirmed. We did a bond, $11 million bond issue with the Morris County Improvement Authority for Denville. They did a large project, and they were able to save $600,000 over 15 years. If you do have debt projects coming up, it doesn't have to be a large one. What the Morris County Improvement Authority do is they'll bundle it together with other projects and issue the bond at the AAA rating of the county, because we think you're a pretty good bet. And you'll get those savings, as well as some savings on the legal counsel, counselor, and bond costs, bond counsel also. So again, due to the actions of the other areas, we feel very good about the financial strength of the county. We actually used less surplus in the budget this year than last year. So we didn't hold it to zero by using surplus, in case some of you were wondering. Again, talking about the capital budget, $2.5 million less spent. We were able to borrow $7.7 million less than prior years, mainly because of these large projects that are about to be completed. The Public Safety Training Academy, which is where the dispatching will be done from, as well as a nonprofit mall and the turf fields that are being built down by Greystone. Actually, to be honest with you, my opinion is that project was too expensive. It was $7.9 million for 4 artificial surface fields and really good fencing and seating. I think that was too much money. But half of the project was done. We were faced with, all right, what do we do with flattened land? Do we finish it? Yes, even though I thought the price was outrageous, we were finishing the project. So if you want to hold a tournament or something there, those fields are available for the whole county. Though obviously, it's located in the central part of the county. Some additions, not much. A little bit more for tourism promotion, given the Super Bowl. A little bit more for our Economic Development Corporation, which, by the way, is really doing. I've been very impressed with their efforts. We gave them extra money so they could upgrade the staff and bring in a little bit higher talented staff. And I feel very good about what they're going to be able to do there. We took a little hit on disposal of ammunition and fireworks, which 12 years in office I didn't even know occurred. But one of those little things that happens out there. The county will cover that cost. And Freeholder Director Mastrangelo has a background in information technology and IT. We had some vacant positions in the IT department for the countywide. We didn't fill those positions. Instead, we brought in a chief information officer. He's a former CIO at Fort Monmouth. So he has government background, but also the technology background. And he's worked on a number of projects, but one of the visions we have for the future is to work with the towns, ARDA projects we can work together, cloud computing, shared services in that area. So hopefully, after we get through some county projects, we'll have that conversation. We're already looking at 2014. There is uncertainty with Medicaid funding, which actually we understand has been delayed as far as a reduction to 2014. It's because everything's going to managed care, so that will negatively impact Morrisview. So we're concerned about that. Our own health insurance costs from the mandates in the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, and of course interest arbitration rulings even with the 2% cap. We have a multi-point plan to deal with 2014, so we're continuing to work on that. We actually took a little bit of the Medicaid revenue hit in our 2013 budget, which didn't happen, so we're going to be a little bit ahead when we start next year. And we're always looking at trying to restructure operations. Actually had some conversations today on that. And you will see savings from the Park Police area. It will happen. As slow as it happens in government, it will happen over time. There are savings to be had there. We'll find a way to do it. And just some charts, which are a little hard to read, showing the spending going flat. And here's the reduction of employees. Again, a little over half of that coming from outsourcing at Morrisview. I don't have a clock in front of me. I usually try and keep this to 15 minutes. There it is. Ah, look at that.
Look at that.
On the dot.
Right on the money.
All right. So, but I will open it up to, please feel free to ask any questions, and then at your discretion, the public asks questions also. My pleasure.
Mayor?
I commend you guys in terms of the 0% increase. I think your effort obviously came through, and that you were able to accomplish what it is that you said you were going to accomplish. I had some concerns about getting down to 0 in terms of how it was going to impact you going forward in 2014 and 15. But it seems like you've considered those concerns in terms of getting down to zero, and I really have no negative criticism, only positive words of praise for the job that you guys did on this year's budget.
Thank you, I appreciate that, Mayor.
I agree with the mayor. I had concerns about sometimes, if you look to save money in your budget, you would stop doing some services that you do for different municipalities, but just then put the cost on the individual municipality. And as you know, if you're doing something and you collaborate, all together, it costs less than if you put it back. But in speaking to a couple of people who know your budget well, and they said, no, it actually didn't happen. So I was very, very pleased that that has not happened. And I will say that with Governor Christie's efforts in all of the healthcare and all of his suggestions has really helped everybody. The county level has helped us. I know Sherry has remarked that different plans that were put in place has helped our budget. So it was a long time coming. I'm very glad that there are a lot of changes that are being made from the state level that have had the trickle-down effect and has helped all of us. Mr.
Just
Maney?
thank you for the presentation, and thank you for a job well done.
Thank you, appreciate it. Appreciate your comments, Council President.
Anybody else on council? I'd ask anybody from the public. Any comments? Seeing none? Mr. Nicastro.
No, I was just-
Oh, you're just
He
waving
just
at me?
doesn't know what to do with his hand.
He's just waving at me. Well, thank you very much, and if you and your staff ever need any help from Mount Olive Township, we're always here for you as well, and be happy to work with you. And our doors are always opened.
I appreciate that, and I know that in reverse. I appreciate you having completed Turkey Brook, because my daughters make a lot of money refereeing there now.
Yeah.
They're at that age, so thank you all very much.
And also just to say that we've had a wonderful working relationship with Washington Township for many years now. Correct, Mayor? Everything's working really well, and very happy.
Terrific. That's
Very
good to
well.
hear.
But in terms of the services that we've been getting from the county this year, very responsive, and please thank the freeholders in John Benani for coming to our aid every time that we've asked for services from the county.
Yeah, I'd
pass
actually
that.
like to say when we had Superstorm Sandy and we needed the Mount Olive Manor, part of the roof blew off, and we had 40 families that were displaced. And I put a call out to Freeholder Grassi, and she, within 15 minutes, was able to find placement for the families, and it was fantastic. And within an hour, we had them on a bus and on their way to I think it was
Menon Arena? Yep.
And so that was wonderful. It was like the response is tremendous, just fabulous. So I appreciate it very much.
That's great to hear.
Thank
I'll
you.
pass that on. I'm sure when there is criticism, you won't hesitate to give that to us, too. But thank you all very much. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thanks
Have a
again.
nice evening.
Thanks.
And you're welcome to stay if you'd like, but if you want to go, we certainly
No, he wants-
understand.
He doesn't want to stay.
Already shutting
Yeah,
down.
there you go. So we're moving right along to resolutions. Does anybody have any questions about resolutions that we have to see? Mr. Perkins?
Thank you, Madam President. I have, there was a meeting today, and I just don't have any update to be able to give to the council, and Sean's not here this evening. There was a meeting this morning with Jim Lynch and a representative from R.J. Donnelly, who was the firm who had worked together with us on getting some of the other upgrades that were done to some of our systems, both here and down at the fire station. I know that part of the proposal was to replace, at no cost, 2 of the air conditioning units. There was also some concern about motion sensors, and they were going to do a building tour. I'm looking at this resolution with EMCOR services for the municipal building HVAC recommissioning project. And I would ask that if anybody from the administration's aware, is there a time frame on this? We only got 1 bid back. And if not, I would like to table this resolution till the next meeting and give our business administrator a chance to update us on what happened with R.J. Donnelly, because I would hate to think that we're recommissioning something that we may be actually able to get replaced for free.
Sherry's, Mayor?
I don't have an answer in terms of whether or not there's a time frame on it, but I will reach out to Sean between the 2 meetings to
Okay.
find out And I would ask that we take a 2-minute recess between the workshop and the public meeting so
Sounds
I can
good.
get the information.
I agree.
And
I'm
I
sorry.
just would add, it was publicly bid, so
Uh-huh.
we would have to have a very, specific reason to reject it. I can understand the question, you want to know what happened, but we're mindful of the fact we may be bound by, the terms of, under local public
Mm-hmm.
contracts to award this, but certainly the question we can try to answer.
Good point, Mr. Perkins, and we'll get that answer before we go to our public meeting. Thank you. Any other questions or concerns? Mr. Semra?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, with respect to the award of the contract for the ambulance for the Bud Lake Rescue Squad, just for the record, so that the governing body's aware, is the administration and our office reviewed the bids, and the lowest bid, wasn't the lowest qualified bidder, but the lowest bid, it was not a responsible bid. The specifications asked for a cab remount, and it was supposed to be a remount of what was termed a latest model. And when the bids came in, this particular proposal, the remount was for a 2006 cab to be remounted over a 2010 body. So that's not a latest type model. And for those reasons, as we indicated in the resolution and in the memorandum, the administration and our office believes that this bid is non-compliant and is recommending rejecting the low bid, and because it's not a low qualified bid, and awarding it to what we deem to be the qualified lowest bid.
We have representation from the Bud Lake Fire Department. Just ask you if, would you like to make any comment on that, or are you good to go on it? You're good? I'm sorry, Bud Lake First Aid Squad. It's been a long
Which
day.
it could be the fire.
Sorry. You know what it's like, I've been running after a toddler all morning, all day. I know you have it double.
I
Yes.
have an answer to that question.
Okay.
I spoke to Sean. He would rather not table it. The meeting that he had today was actually a pre-construction meeting, and they're ready to go. It was bid out. It came in lower than what we had originally planned, and the issues, he believes that the issue that Ray raised is a whole separate issue,
Okay.
has nothing to do with the award of this year. He thought you were referring to Donnelly Industries, which has nothing to do with the award of this bid.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thanks, Mr.
Good. Thank
He
you.
wants to move forward with this, especially in light of the fact that they're ready to go. Summer is coming.
Right.
If we lose
Wait a-
time, we may lose them to the end of the summer, which doesn't benefit us.
Good. Yeah, we
But
want to move.
Ray's concerns were noted by Sean. He just said it's a separate issue.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thanks, Ron. Thanks,
Okay.
Mayor.
Thank you for bringing up the point, and Mayor, thank you for checking that out. Mr. Samra, anything else?
No, thank
You
you.
see him down at the bottom of the
Alrighty.
pecking order because he didn't answer my.
So at this point, we have old business. Anybody have any old business? Seeing none. Any new business? Seeing none. Anybody from the public like to come up and address the council? Seeing none, I close the public portion. And I would like a motion to adjourn to our public meeting.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think it is.
All right, we are moving now on to our public meeting. And Mrs. Lashway, would you please read the Open Public Meetings Act announcement?
According to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been given to the Daily Record. Notice has been posted in the Municipal Building, 204 Flanders Drakestown Road, Bud Lake, New Jersey, and notices were sent to those requesting the same.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Frente?
Here.
Mr. Nacastro?
Here.
Mr. Perkins?
Here.
Mr. Roman? Mr. Stazak?
Here.
Mr. Mania?
Here.
Mrs. Laybow?
Here. Once again, I'd like to say Mr. Roman is excused from the meeting this evening. He is on his way back from sunny Florida. He said to me today he's having a great time, so, which is really good. It's always good to get away and have a great time. The next item on our agenda is approval of minutes of our previous meetings. Mr. Ferranti, would you please approve the April 16, 2013 workshop and public meeting?
Sure, I move to approve the April 16th, 2013 workshop and public meeting minutes.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions, concerns? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Frente?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes.
Mr. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Stazak?
Yes.
Mr. Mania?
Yes.
Mrs. Laybow?
Yes. Alrighty, we have 58 pieces of correspondence this evening. Does anyone want to talk about any of our correspondence? All right, seeing none. We are moving on to our ordinances for public hearing. Where's my... One second, I just need to get the cheat sheet. Thank you. Thank you very much. All righty, here we go. I open the hearing to the public on ordinance number 14-2013, an ordinance of the Township of Mount Olive of the Township, Mount Olive Council of the Township of Mount Olive in the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, to amend and supplement ordinance number 52-2002, entitled An Ordinance of the Township of Mount Olive Authorizing Certain Stop Intersections. Mr. Nacastro.
Yes, thank you. I move for adoption and final passage of ordinance number 14-2013.
Second.
Thank you. Does anybody from the public want to? Seeing none? Anybody from council have any comments, concerns? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Frente?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes.
Mr. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Stazak?
Yes.
Mr. Mania?
Yes.
Mrs. Laybow?
Yes. Ordinance number 14-2013 is passed on second reading, and I hereby direct the clerk to forward a copy of the same to the mayor and publish the notice of adoption as required by law. Ready, moving right along, we have no ordinance for first reading this evening, and we have 6 items on our consent resolutions. Would anybody like to have any of them removed to non-consent? Seeing none. Mr. Perkins, would you please move our resolutions this evening?
Yes, I move for adoption of consent resolutions numbers 1 through 6.
Second.
Thank you. Anybody from the public like to address the council on the resolutions? Okay, seeing none. Any comments from the council? All right, seeing none. Roll call, please.
Mr. Frente?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes.
Mr. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Stazak?
Yes.
Mr. Mania?
Yes.
Mrs. Laybow?
Yes. Alrighty, Mr. Stazak, would you
Yes.
please move our consent motions for us?
Move consent motions number 1 and 2.
Second.
Any comments, concerns? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Frente?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes.
Mr. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Stazak?
Yes.
Mr. Mania?
Yes.
Mrs. Laybow?
Yes. Administrative reports, Mayor?
Just briefly, today we had the groundbreaking for the Jividon Braille Trail, very exciting.
Oh, good.
Yesterday, I met with the yellow team at the middle school with Ms. Laybow, and we talked about different issues that the township is involved with. The main topic of discussion to start with was the property on Flanders Drakestown Road, which has been the subject of litigation that the township is in, the old general store barn that's right next to Tins School. And it was very interesting to hear the 6th graders talk about and issues related to the town, and to talk about their feelings in terms of what they think is right and wrong in Mount Olive. Today, I actually was at the high school, and want to thank Mr. Reska. I actually had discussions with 2 of his classes, law and justice classes, but I can tell you that 95% of the questions really related to Mount Olive Township and what it's like to be mayor and why I wanted to be mayor. So it was very interesting. Very, very busy couple of days for me.
I have to say that meeting with the students yesterday, it was 6th graders, right?
6th graders.
6th graders. It was extremely interesting, and the questions that they asked were fantastic questions, and they very knowledgeable group of students. I was really impressed. It's the kind of thing we should all like kind of maybe do it once a month or something. Just the kids are just absolutely phenomenal.
Once a month may be a little much.
I know.
Yeah.
Already there.
It was extremely interesting, and you know what the best part was is looking around. There's 110 kids there all total, and just looking around, all of them, none of them like looked bored. We didn't even have to have a 7th inning stretch or anything. They were just really engaged in the conversation. I was really impressed with them.
If the teacher didn't cut it off, we'd still be there.
Yeah, I know. She and the kids. Yeah, she said that she could only take 2 more questions because they had to get back, and there was a lot more questions that the kids had. So we would have been there for.
I just have one other thing to announce. This Saturday is Strut Your Mutt at Turkey Brook Park.
There you
Hope
go.
to see everyone there. I will be there with my mutt.
Yeah, there you go. My mutt barks too much. I'm leaving her home. So, let me see. We have legal. No, I'm sorry. Old business. Seeing none. New business. I'm sorry. Legal matters.
Just a couple matters, if I may, Council President. First, tomorrow I have a call with the administrators. We continue to try to address the issues raised by residents in the vicinity of Connolly Road regarding access, and we hope to get an update on that matter. Cobblestone, I had said that we had ideally wanted to have proposals for you at this meeting, but Homeless Solutions is the developer ultimately of the Cobblestone property. So we're working with Homeless Solutions to make sure we have proposals for various infrastructure and site evaluation from professionals that they can rely upon. So hopefully at the next meeting we'll be ready to go with those proposals and the due diligence for that property. And I just want to also say, sometimes you know, this is really what we do, and you overlook sometimes things that are you see all the time and on a repetitive basis. And your minutes tonight from executive and the public portion of the last meeting were on the agenda this evening. And if you look around at a lot of municipalities, that's not always the case. They're timely done and turned around, and I think that's always something to be mindful of as far as compliance is concerned. And then last, regarding your mutt, our office was defending a matter where Mount Olive Township was a defendant in a dog park. It's entitled the case Trainer versus Mount Olive Township for an incident that occurred in the dog park. We didn't believe that the township was at fault, but the plaintiff did, who made repeated demands of close to 6 figures to settle the case after there were some injuries at a dog park. And Jeff Pasik's going to tell you about the case. He has some good news to report regarding this matter.
Thank you, Fred. Plaintiff had essentially alleged that the township failed to adequately enforce its own rules and regulations, namely Pedicate, which is the dog rules posted in the dog park, and specifically that the township failed to enforce the rule that dog owners had to keep their dogs under voice control. At the conclusion of discovery, we filed a motion for summary judgment, essentially arguing that the Tort Claims Act provided the township with immunity for negligent supervision in the park. And I'm happy to report, as Fred intimated, that the court granted our motion for summary judgment a week and a half ago, and all allegations against the township have been dismissed.
Excellent.
Which judge granted summary judgment?
Judge Ramsey.
Excellent.
And that's our report.
All good news.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good news night for those two guys.
That is
Yeah,
good.
that is very good news.
We're going to leave right now.
It's
Yeah,
about time.
there you go.
I was gonna say, it's about
I've been
time.
here
Fred.
long
It's
enough. I know
about
when to
Yeah,
go.
you want to go.
I have a
Go while
question.
you're ahead, right,
Fred,
Fred?
I actually have a question. Were there other reported decisions with other municipalities, or does that really set the bar in terms of that type of dog park activity?
Sure. From the research we did, that pretty much sets the bar. We didn't see any other really precedential decisions with the same kind of factual context.
Right, so it was really just a tort claims argument, but now, next time it happens, we'll be able to cite to this case.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. And everyone cooperated, and all the actions of the townships were very responsible, and put us in that position as well. So from a fact standpoint, but you're right, Mayor, the thing that we looked at is, these dog parks are kind of new by the
yeah.
time they get to court. And although, Jeff identified a lot of cases that supported our position, nothing on point as far as dog parks are concerned, so.
So that's very
Good.
interesting.
Yeah.
And it's unmanned.
Mhm.
It really would have been a stretch, I think, to ultimately apply liability in a situation.
Absolutely, Mayor.
Great job.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right, we're on to council reports. Mr. Ferranti, would you please give us your reports?
Only in the lake, we have the annual lake cleanup on May 18th.
What time does that start?
Get there at 8.
8?
Bring donuts.
9 a.m. 9 a.m. it starts. Donuts at 8.
Donuts
And
at
the
8.
cleanup starts at 9. Where are you meeting?
I believe they meet at the beach area.
Beach area?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
And library meets next week.
All right. Then we have Mr. Mania, Planning Board.
Okay, we approved the solar panels for Town Hall, Tents Road School, and Sand Shore School. Unfortunately, we lost a ball field at Sand Shore. and I asked, was there any other place the panels could be put? And I was told that the parking lot was too small, and the roof of Sanctuary School was too old to put panels on it. So they had no alternative but to place the panels on the field. So it was unfortunate that we lost the field, but the township's gonna save some bucks with the town hall and both schools.
They said they're $1 million over a 15-year period, so very good.
Yep.
Anything else going on with the planning board? No?
That was the big
That was a big discussion.
big thing of the night.
Very
We didn't
good.
get out of there until 11 o'clock.
Ooh,
I expect that Siemens will be coming in on the 16th of May, based upon my meetings with Siemens. So that if it goes through, will likely result in $1 million in tax increase to the municipality.
when you say coming, you mean to the planning board?
Coming into the planning board, their plan is, if they can get everything done in time, to be presenting before the planning board on May 16th.
Excellent. That's great news. Great news. Very good news. All righty. Then we have Mr. May, do you have anything for the seniors?
No, nothing.
Okay. Mr. Nicastro.
Yeah, I have nothing. There was no, I have nothing to report on either committee yet.
All righty. Mr. Perkins.
Pretty good. Board of Health, Madam President, nothing out of the ordinary, is just standard course of business. Legislative Committee, they're busy with budget hearings down in Trenton, so with any luck, that should get resolved within the next few weeks. And unfortunately, I was unable to attend the Economic Developmental Committee last week, so
Okay.
nothing to report.
And Mr. Roman is not here this evening, and I would imagine that the Board of Education report would have been probably pretty much what Mr. Renia. And as we know, recreation is moving, I'm sorry.
That's right. Well, one thing I did forget, because I was just looking up to make sure, the trails, they'll be doing the trails again, the work days, scheduled for May 11th from 9 a.m. to noon, if anybody that wants to volunteer.
Oh, wonderful. Excellent. And Mr. Stazak, MOTV.
MOTV, our next meeting is May 13th. I spoke with the school about updating our meetings,
And they are.
and they are.
They are updated, thank you.
I
Oh,
spoke
wow.
to Andy Roberts, and
Excellent.
Secretary got a call from the superintendent today, so we're moving forward, and our meetings will be updated regularly.
Excellent. Mr. Walsh called me the other day to see how everything was going, and I was really happy to report that you had taken over the responsibility as liaison for MOTV, because that was like his whole thing, bringing that.
Yes.
And he was so happy, and he said to tell you thank you very much. He is very, very happy that someone has taken an interest in it, and that you've taken the ball and run with it. And so and he wanted to also thank Mrs. Pignataro for all of her help in moving it forward. He was very, very pleased, so that's really good news. Mantle of TNR, we are going to be having our first annual spring yard sale on the 21st and 22nd of June. So anybody has any donations you'd like to make, we'd be happy to take them. And we're having, usual adoption days coming on, and I want to say that it was really nice. Lynn's Nissan West actually has a program going. If somebody buys a car through them, they will donate $100 to Mantle of TNR. And I received a call this evening. They wanted to know exactly who to make the check out to, because somebody bought a car and put down Mantle of TNR as the recipient of the $100 donation. So I thought that was a wonderful thing.
Nice.
And also, on May 14th, we're going to have the Mantle of TNR project, and hopefully members from the Board of Health who can make it. And we have a Girl Scout Troop 374 who has been working with Mantle of TNR to earn their Bronze Award. And they had sent me an email. I sent the council members an email about this. They had sent me an email a couple weeks ago and said that they were really impressed with how much time that the volunteers put in for Mantle of TNR. They wanted to know, is there any way to recognize them? And I suggested a resolution, and the troop embraced that idea, and they actually wrote the resolution themselves. I sent them some information on what a resolution is, what it means versus an ordinance. I sent them a couple of examples, and Mr. Samro and Jeff, our attorneys, are reviewing it. The ladies did a wonderful job. There's 7 scouts, and they chose to have 7 whereases. It's only one page, gentlemen. It's not very long. And they are going to be at our next council meeting, and they will each be able to read a paragraph. So I thought that was it's just been a really great learning experience, and the mayor's going to have a proclamation. So it's just been just a wonderful learning experience for everybody involved. So that's all I have to report for TNR. And I'd like to ask if anybody from the public has anything that they'd like to add. Seeing nothing, close the meeting to the public. And council comments. Nope.
Nothing.
I'm sorry, Mr. Manion?
I'm sure you're all aware of the accident that occurred on Sunday, the car that ran into
Vincenzo?
Vincenzo Pizzeria. I was very fortunate to get there quickly. I was working in my backyard. I thought it was an accident of 2 cars.
Yeah.
When I got in front of the store, I couldn't believe that the car was actually
Yeah.
inside. And Brian was there. And
Barry.
Barry, I'm sorry, Barry. I apologize, Barry. And
See, first you were with the fire department, now your name's Brian. I'm telling you, we're just really doing great today.
they had asked Vinny to get out of the store, and he says, "I got pizzas in the oven. They're gonna burn if I don't get them out." But I just think it's great, our volunteers, how quickly they respond and do a great job.
I stopped by on my way
Thank you.
to my open house I was doing over in Clinton Ave, and I went up. Of course, I've known Vinny for 30-some years,
Right.
as you. And Flora, his daughter, was there, and Nancy. I was so relieved to see they were okay. And when Vinny came, I said, Vinny, you need to get a permit when you want to have a drive-through pizzeria. We just don't allow this. And he was cracking up laughing. So Sunday night I was talking to Flora. I called to see how they were doing. She said they were laughing all day, saying, Colleen stops by to let us know we need a permit to have a drive-through pizzeria. So, and I just want to thank everybody. You guys were so responsive, and thank God you're there and right there. Yeah, it would be the first drive-through pizza. I think it'd be a great idea. Just drive through, get a slice, and you're on your way, right? Or a whole pie. But any other council comment? That was amazing too. The picture. I mean, that car just fit right in there perfectly. So.
I assume what happened, instead of putting it in reverse, he put it in drive.
No. Actually, what happened? They told me that he's a guy who brings deliveries for Vinny, and they think he had a stroke. A little mini stroke.
Did he have a stroke, Barry?
Well, they can't say. Oh, we can't talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't talk about it public. Anyway, it wasn't the case of.
When they got him out of the car, he looked fine to me.
Yeah, that was just what they were telling me Sunday night, but we can't talk about that. Any other council comments? Seeing none? Mayor, would you like to?
I have no comment.
No comments. All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. This meeting is over. Thank you.
I don't know. I'm so moved. You moved by my motion.
So moved.